Committee is being that governing body of all of the other committees, looking to see what's going forward. Our job is also, under the standing orders, part of that was looking at the reason for prorogation, that we should be expecting that the government will have that response within 20 sitting days of this session beginning. So we're already into this. All we're asking for is, we want the documents that support the reason for prorogation, and that is the request that we have made today.
These people are crazy. This is going to be a disaster.
Meals. I think we're going to need the meals because we're going to be here a while.
Okay. No, that was long. I just got an email simultaneously in the middle of some of what was just said. I wanted to know, Ms. Vecchio, if you could, because a lot was said there, help me better understand how this motion or this study request is within PROC's mandate. So if you could clarify that for me.
Turning the floor to me. Some of the things that we're looking at is one of the standing orders that was changed, of course, back in the 42nd Parliament was the fact of prorogation. I think like many Canadians, when this government prorogated just last month, as everybody was coming into the fold of everything that was happening with the scandals, we recognized that the government kind of just stopped on a certain date. We also know that there's certain documents that were going to be sent in that were expected just one day after, including some of the people that were supposed to be coming to either the Ethics Committee or to the Finance Committee. We recognize that through this prorogation, what ended up happening by worrying more about the skin in the game of the Prime Minister, we forgot about Canadians and forgot about the fact that there are so many things going on, like the fact that we're trying to pull through legislation on Bill C2 and C4. We want to look at this to see why was there prorogation at a time in which it was so imperative to make sure that we're actually helping Canadians during this pandemic. So that is one of the things that I'm looking at. And in the Procedures and House Affairs Committee, our job is to make sure that all things are kept accountable and putting this all on the floor. So as the grandfather of the committee for the House of Commons, that is why I think it is our duty to make sure that what this prorogation did and the impact to all of the committee work that was done. Thank you.
Committee? Yes.
Ms. Sahota, I have raised my hand. I would like to move a motion, please.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Vecchio.
Thank you very much. And Garrettson, hopefully I'll only do it in less than 6 minutes. That anticipation of the committee receiving an order of reference pursuant to standing order.
We amended that to 5 minutes.
32.7. No later than the 20th sitting day of the present session, the committee shall consider the document outlining the government's response or reasons for the latest prorogation, and in preparation for that study, A, invite the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, and the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Diversity and Inclusion of Youth, and the Leader of the Government in the House of Commons, each to appear separately before the committee for at least 3 hours, provided that each of them who does not agree within 1 week of the adoption of this motion to accept this invitation for the length of time prescribed, the chair shall be instructed to report to the House with a recommendation that this committee be empowered to order his or her appearance from time to time. B, an order of the committee do issue for all memorandums, emails, documents, notes, or other records from the Prime Minister's office and the Privy Council office since June 25th of 2020 concerning options, plans, and preparations for the prorogation of Parliament, provided that these documents shall be provided to the clerk of the committee within 10 days of the adoption of this motion. C, an order of the committee do issue for a record of all communications between the government and any of the We Charity or its affiliated organizations, Craig Kilberger, Mark Kilberger, Speaker Spotlight, Rob Silver, or MCAP, since June 25th, 2020, in respect of the prorogation of Parliament, provided that these documents shall be provided to the clerk of the committee within 10 days of the adoption of this motion. D, an order of the committee do issue to We Charity, including its affiliated organizations, Craig Kilberger, Mark Kilberger, and Speaker Spotlight for all memoranda, emails, documents, notes, or other records since June 25th, 2020, concerning the prorogation of Parliament, provided that these documents shall be provided to the clerk of the committee within 10 days of the adoption of this motion. E, an order of the committee do issue for the unredacted version of the documents provided the government in response to the July 7th, 2020 order of the Standing Committee on Finance, provided that these documents shall be provided to the clerk of the committee within 24 hours of the adoption of this motion. F, an order of the committee do issue to each member of the cabinet, including the Prime Minister, and to the Honourable Bill Marneau, requiring that they prepare and make a return to the clerk of the committee within 10 days of the adoption of this motion, indicating the date and summary of each communication they or a member of the ministerial exempt staff or a volunteer in their ministerial exempt staff ministerial office had between March 1st and April 22nd of 2020 with Mark Kilberger, Craig Kilberger, We Charity, or its affiliated organizations, or any employee, agent, or representative of them. 2, providing all records of the communications referred to in paragraph 1. G, an order of the committee do issue to require the government to prepare and to make a return to the clerk of the committee within 10 days of the adoption of this motion, indicating 1, what criteria were used to public servants to determine that only We Charity could deliver this Canada Student Service Grant. 2, which individuals were responsible for designing the parameters of the Canada Student Service Grant. 3, who was present at any meeting where the parameters of the Canada Student Service Grant were discussed. And 4, whether the Canada Student Service Grant was approved through the ordinary Treasury Board submissions process, and if not, what were the variations were. H, an order of the committee do issue to We Charity, including its affiliated organizations, Craig Kilberger and Mark Kilberger, to prepare and make a return to the clerk of the committee within 10 days of the adoption of this motion, indicating every corporation, trust, charity, association, entity, or individual, including, for greater certainty, those affiliated with We Charity and We Charity and We Charity Foundation shared or intended to share data concerning the Canada Student Service Grant. I, an order of the committee do issue to Craig Kilberger, Mark Kilberger, Fred Kilberger, Teresa Kilberger, Della Alwaldi, Scott Baker, and Victor Lee to prepare and to make a return to the clerk of the committee within 10 days of the adoption of this motion, indicating the name of each corporation, trust, charity, association, or entity in which each of them is or have been at any time since January 1st of 2015, a member, director, or officer, together with 1, the name of the jurisdiction in which it is incorporated, 2, the office in which it is held by the person completing the return, including the date the office was assumed and its relevant vacated, 3, the relationship it has to any other organization named in the return, and 4, the name of any subsidiary it owns or controls. J, an order of the committee do issue to We Charity, including its affiliated organizations, and National Public Relations for any contract between those organizations pertaining to the delivery of the Canada Student Service Grant, together with all memoranda, emails, documents, notes, or others records related to the negotiation, implementation, and termination of that contract, provided that these documents shall be provided to the clerk of the committee within 3 weeks of the adoption of this motion. K, an order of the committee do issue to Speaker Spotlight for a copy of all records pertaining to speaking appearances arranged since October 14th of 2008 for Justin Trudeau, Sophie Gregoire Trudeau, Margaret Trudeau, and Alexandra Trudeau, including in respect of each speaking appearance, an indication of the fee provided, any expenses that were reimbursed, and the name of the company, organization, person, or entity booking it, which has been originally ordered to be produced on July 22nd of 2020 by the Standing Committee on Access to Information, Privacy, and Ethics, provided that these documents shall be provided to the clerk of the committee within 24 hours of adoption of this motion. L, an order to the committee do issue for any memoranda, emails, documents, notes, or other records, including cabinet papers in the care, custody, or control of the government or the Honourable Bill Marneau, related to program design for the Canada Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance and the subsidy contracts entered into by MCAP for the delivery of that program, provided these documents shall be provided to the clerk of the committee within 3 weeks of the adoption of this motion. M, an order of the committee to do issue for all memoranda, emails, documents, notes, or other records, including cabinet papers in the care, custody, or control of the government or of the Honourable Bill Marneau related to Rob Silver's lobbying or other representations on behalf of MCAP, and amendments to the Income Tax Act pertaining to the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, provided that these documents shall be provided to the clerk of the committee within 3 weeks of the adoption of this motion. N, an order the committee do issue to each member of the cabinet, including the Prime Minister and the Honourable Bill Morneau, requiring that they prepare and make a return to the clerk of the committee within 10 days of the adoption of this motion. 1, indicating the date and summary of each communication they, a member of the ministerial exempt staff, or a volunteer in their ministerial office has since January 1st of 2020 with Rob Silver, and 2, providing all records of the communications referred to in paragraph 1. And O, all documents and returns provided to the clerk of the committee under this order shall be published on the committee's website as soon as practical upon receipt. Madam Chair, we have taken the opportunity, and we have sent this to all of the other members, whips, that will be in both official languages. These are just things that were outstanding after the prorogation and things that we just are calling back on so that we can look at, as I indicated, the prorogation study that must come after some of the standing orders that have been changed back in 2017-18 by this government. So we're just starting to ask for these documents to prepare ourselves for when we're going to have this discussion. Thank you, and I'll pass the floor on.